So often we talk about the healing properties of nature, and that they're not simply medicinals. We're talking about the healing properties of an entire space, a whole space which is interconnected. And what we found here during camps, during programs, during walks, during meals in the woods, is that simply being in the space, having a conversation in the space, sometimes is the key transition point. It doesn't have to be a complex program. It doesn't have to be an introduction to biology even. It can just be simply sitting in the space around us. Over here, there's a thatch of invasive Christmas berries which provide a perfect little nook and cover point. Students have had raucous debates, arguments, discussions about life, parents, each other. These places provide our version of a classroom. Over here we have a vined area, which is essentially a crawl space that kids have cleared out within and created this almost tunnel system. And again, it's within such spaces, amidst such space, where there is a kind of a sanctuary and a safety spot. And to a degree, this is the most unscripted and understated of strengths that nature provides us with. It's not necessarily knowing every fauna, flora, and vine. Sometimes it's just being amidst the elements. One of the great moments for us at Akahiao was with a small group of local children. We were just taking a walk, and we came upon this little area that we here know about, but the kids kind of repurposed this area and suggested that if we wanted to have a real conversation, we should go in within the safety of this sanctuary. And this became the Green Fort. And so what started off as a basic idea with a small group became something that was transmitted and continued throughout each program. So each program that comes here not only goes and clears out a little more to make the area more expansive, to make it more conducive to conversations, it's also been a space where I think a lot of the youth feel easy speaking about topics, about values, and the conversations don't have to be about nature themselves. They can be about each other. So come on in. This has been prepared by the interior design team called Youth Incorporated. And so it's in this little sanctuary that I feel, at least, that youth has been provided an opportunity to truly feel safe. We talk so much about forest bathing as though it's some sort of silent retreat. In the way I view it as just simply being within the forest space, in natural space, in order to have conversations. Be silent if you wish. But this has become our little, almost like a council table, where we can get into topics. Kids can look at the shapes, they can smell the bark, they can look at the floor of the leaves, they can clear twigs away, they can listen to the winds, and they can fantasize about one day having a sleepover in a camp here, which is inevitably what most groups come to the conclusion of, that they want to spend more time here. And even Momo finds a sanctuary. Our mascot, our loyalist, he's now covered in berries. We brought a group up here a few weeks ago, and it was one of the more inspiring moments I've had, because we have all these ideals, we have all these lessons, we have all of these fantastic places we want to introduce, these times and spaces we want to introduce to youth. And yet, often, it's us being instructed by youth. Sometimes I was reminded, that simply to get youth out here, that first step, that deed, that duty is the most important. So we had a moment of, okay, so this is a space. We want each of the youth to find their own nook, their little safe spot, out of sight of one another. And we had a young girl find this nook, and we gave them 15 minutes to write thoughts down, to listen. And she was over here. And when she came back, one of the great gifts that youth gives us is just being forthcoming and straight up. So she came out of that spot back to us, and she's been here before to other programs, and she simply said, that's the first time in my life I've had moments to just calm down, breathe, listen, and feel safe. And so with all of the complex design thinking workshops that we sometimes do, with all the values workshops that we do, with all of the farm to table cooking and recipes and pieces of information that we want to impart, sometimes it's those moments that you feel the spirit is moved, and that just providing that moment, that's maybe the biggest gift we can provide. And it's there and then that we find that nature gives the greatest gift of all, a sanctuary, a restorative sanctuary.